I thought it would be very interesting to talk about all the different souls that have incarnated on earth at this time to help us in the transition to the new earth. So, at first, when I read Dolores Cannon's book, The Three Waves of Volunteers, it was very interesting. I'm not going to really talk about the three waves of volunteers because that's a whole book report in itself. But all the different souls that have incarnated here to help the earth ascend to the new earth at this time are here for very specific reasons, and it all makes sense. It was never, I got this from several different texts. I couldn't even begin to tell you where to find it all. But a lot of these beings that have incarnated here, these souls that are here, they are volunteers, and they're here for a specific reason, to do a specific job here on earth at this time, the most important time in the history of the world. So let's start with this, okay? You've got various souls that have incarnated here from ancient Indian tribes. You know, one of the stories that I think about, that I read about was, settlers and things like that that talk about, or that documented, they came upon this group, Indian tribe, and their village. All the teepees were there. All of their equipment was there. All of their animals were there. All of their worldly possessions were there. They had prepared food. But there were no people. The people were gone. It was like they just disappeared. They looked for them, but they weren't anywhere. They were just gone. No dead bodies, no nothing, just gone. Well, in reading about it, these Indian tribes, they aspired to ascend to the next dimension. Where'd they go? I don't know. I'm not in charge of any of that. But I know they disappeared from this earth. And through hypnotherapy sessions that I've read about, they're here talking about how they've come back. And they're here for a very specific reason. Why? Because they've done this before. Now, this is New Earth. Never has a people ascended with their planet. That's why they're back here. They're back here because they kind of got it halfway. They were able to ascend themselves, but the planet didn't go with them or take them to that dimension. They're here to make sure and to help us ascend to that next dimension with the earth. There are 10,000, at least 10,000, grid keepers. These are incredible energy beings that have had many, many lives on many, 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 many other existences in this universe. And they volunteered to come to Earth to bring their energy to help the grid, to help the Earth's energy grid. Now, this new Earth thing, we've tried it a couple of times and failed. Okay, we couldn't get the critical mass, but they have it now. The prime directive of the Creator went out. The call went out. These people answered the call, and they're here to help in some way. Why? Because they can. These are incredible energy beings. These people who go to sleep at night, their soul travels outside their body and goes to work on the Earth's energy grid. They work all night. That's why they wake up tired the next day. But they're here to raise the energy, to raise the vibrations of Earth, to help us ascend to the new Earth. What an incredible group of beings. Most of these energy beings are a part of the second wave of volunteers. There are an incredible amount of creator beings. What's a creator being? Well, what is said is that, ETs seed life on planets throughout the universe. And a lot of people get offended by that. Well, where's God's role in all this? God created the universe. God created them. But to just hope that an intelligent being is on a planet is going to evolve into a highly intelligent being that, is like us walking the earth. It would take millions and millions and millions of years to do that. That's why you're never going to find the missing link, because there isn't one. They're in charge of seeding life on these planets. So these creator beings, the one that I found most fascinating was, he said, I'm in charge of creating the oceans. When a new planet is ready or receives its life charter, means it's ready to support life. It's evolved enough to where it can support life. These beings are sent there. And this particular being is in charge of the ocean. Well, what was asked, do you create the same ocean on all these planets? No, every ocean's different. It's got a different chemical makeup, and a lot goes into it, especially the creatures that dwell in that ocean and everything else. But this creator being is here, and his history is he creates oceans on other planets, and that's all he does. The hypnotherapist was asking questions about other forms of creation and things like that. And he kept saying, I don't know of any of these things. This is my job. This is what I do. I create the oceans. What is he here for? Why did he incarnate here? Why are there many of these creator beings incarnated at this time? Because the new Earth is going to have an ocean. The current ocean is polluted beyond, measure. So maybe he's going to clean up the ocean. I don't know. Maybe he's going to create a whole new ocean for the new Earth. I don't know. But he's here for a reason. What about end beings? Okay, there are beings that have incarnated here now that end life on planets and make way for a whole new species to evolve, basically resetting humanity or resetting the life on that planet. Why would there be such people? Why would there be such beings throughout the universe? Well, like I've said in other videos, if our heart space doesn't expand beyond our technological advances, we're not going to be allowed to continue. Why would God allow that? Why would God allow an incredibly technologically advanced species who lives in fear and negativity and has that kind of power? He's not going to give us that. They're not going to give us that. Hence the CERN laboratory in Switzerland. They're trying to open new portals, and they've discovered the God source and things like that. That we're never going to be allowed to have that kind of technology. That thing's never coming back around. But these end beings, they end life on planets and reset that life. And that life is reset. If they were to reset Earth, okay, we would all be gone. And Neanderthal man would come back around and be living in caves, and evolution would start all over again, and hopefully we would evolve into a loving species. Take a look at what's going on in your present world. We're not a loving species in any way, shape, or form. Let's talk about the multi-dimensional beings that are here. There's a lot of them. They've incarnated here. Never incarnated on Earth before, never had an Earth life before, but they came as a part of the volunteers. Multi-dimensional beings. What are they here for? Well, in order to ascend to the new Earth, we have to raise our vibration, because the new Earth is in a different frequency and a different vibration. The multi-dimensional beings are here to help us navigate that vibration so that we can ascend to the new Earth. In thinking about all of these incredible souls that have incarnated on Earth now, it's all a part of the master plan. And it was an ingenious plan. They can't come here, other worlds, other lives, other species, they have a prime directive of non-interference. So they can't just come here and interfere. They can bring us gifts, but they can't come in here and interfere unless our technology advances beyond what our heart space is, and this is when they have to reset humanity. This is when they have to strip it all away. I know it sounds very austere. Strip it all away and reset life on that planet. I hope this doesn't happen. I don't want to see my fellow mankind back to Neanderthal man, back in the days of the caveman, but it could happen. I think that the volunteers that are here are part of an ingenious plan to not interfere. And what they decided to do was to send these souls to incarnate into human bodies on Earth so that they're not interfering, and basically humanity decides for itself. Are we going to ascend to the new Earth, or are we going to stay with the old Earth and live in fear and negativity? I choose ascension, and if I am one of the 3 waves of volunteers, I still don't know my job. I know my purpose is energy related and new Earth related, but I still don't know my job. Apparently that's coming. We're all going to know very soon. You're going to know what your soul purpose is. Yes, you came in here into this incarnation and forgot, but you're going to know soon. Good luck.